Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. A video will revolve around a unique and insightful research technique known as fly on the wall. You might be wondering, what is this research technique? Well, fundamentally, it's a human centered observational design method. This approach enables researchers to observe subjects in their natural environment without any interference. And why is this important? It allows us to capture the genuine essence of human behavior, interactions, and the dynamism of everyday life. Researchers immerse themselves in the study context without participating, ensuring the authenticity of the data collected is true. And here are some of the reasons why this technique is so much valuable in research. Firstly, it captures authentic behaviors and interactions. Secondly, this technique allows for a collection of rich qualitative data through detailed observation. Moreover, it offers contextual insight. And last but not the least, it brings ethical considerations to the forefront.
The steps involved. In the first step of employing the fly on the wall technique, it's crucial to clearly define your research objectives. This involves identifying the specific behaviors you aim to observe and understand. Once you have defined your objectives, the next step is to select an appropriate setting for your observations. Consider where the target behaviors are most likely to occur naturally. Before starting observation, it's essential to prepare the necessary tools and materials. This may include notebooks, recording devices, observation forms, and any other resources required for data collection. Establishing a clear observation protocol is essential for maintaining consistency and reliability in your data collection. Define the procedures, roles, and responsibilities of researchers involved in the observation process. Before conducting full scale observations, it's advisable to conduct pilot observations to test your observation protocol and identify any potential challenges or area of improvement.
Talks about the advantages of fly on the wall. There are two genres of them. Being observation based, it shows a cheap and low effort methodology. The observation can be conducted anywhere with minimal researcher bias. On the other hand, the participant based attribute provides insights about people as well as showing the flexibility of design in the hands of participants. The disadvantages of this method lie in the participant-based attribute as well, which leads to limited and subjective data collection. More observations should be conducted to provide more accurate and generalized findings. The indirect observations also cause limited sensitivity and empathy with participants during research. The lack of interference with the participants also restricts the observer from asking questions compared to other direct interaction methods.
So now we're going to hop into some good and bad examples of using the fly on the wall technique. Here's a bad example. Mr. Robson wanted to collect data on his students' active attention to learning. However, this wasn't a good technique to obtain valuable data because the students obviously saw that he was writing down some type of information about them and it seemed to make them feel uncomfortable. This will create potential bias or behavioral influences that might result from engagement with users. Here's a good example of utilizing the fly on the wall technique for observing how humans interact with the transit system, whether if it's boarding a train, where they stand waiting for the train to come, or how congested the waiting area can be. The observer is far away from the environment but still has a good view of what's going on. And lastly, here's a good example and a bad example of doing this technique within a doggy daycare environment. This can help with research on dogs interacting amongst themselves in an enclosed environment or how humans interact with this many dogs in an enclosed environment. So the observer would record and take notes to collect their data, which is very good. But this could also be a bad example if the observer was more interested in the dogs on the treadmill. Then they would need to change their whole vantage point more on the dogs utilizing the treadmill rather than the whole environment.
Some helpful hints to accompany the fly on the wall research technique. Firstly, when conducting observations, it's crucial to blend into the environment and appear like regular bystander. To capture a comprehensive view of the observed behaviors, record the subject from multiple points and angles. While recording, maintain a respectful distance from the subjects. Always prioritize the privacy and confidentiality of the subjects involved in the observation. We hope you found this presentation informative and inspiring. Thank you for listening.